Welcome to Spectrum News at 10, coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu promises to execute infrastructural projects in all zones. Federal government kicks off agri renewal with 2,000 tractors. Plus, Trump announces Iran-Israel ceasefire. Details of these stories and more in just a moment. Good morning. Many thanks for joining us on the news this morning. We begin the news from the national scene where President Bola Tinubu has vowed to execute infrastructural developments in all zones of Nigeria. Tinubu said he would continue to execute projects that would make Nigerians feel the touch of good governance under his administration. He spoke at the inauguration of the newly constructed rural road from A2 Junction Abuja-Lokoja Expressway to Y Community in Kwali Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) to mark his second year in office. The president vowed to continue embarking on projects like that of the A2 to Y road across Nigeria because it is symbolic. Away from that, in a new approach to massive production and cash crops, the federal government has made available 2,000 tractors, 2,000 disc plows and harrows, and 1,000 disc readers to farmers. The equipment imported from the Republic of Belarus in Eastern Europe was distributed yesterday after the inauguration by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja. According to him, the distribution of the agricultural tools would mark a shift from subsistence farming to technology-driven and large-scale agriculture. Others are 1,200 tractor trailers, 500 seed drills, 300 boom sprayers, 10 harvesters, 12 mobile workshop vehicles, and 9,022 sets of spare parts. He explained that the launch is part of his government's initiative aimed at wooing the youth into mechanized farming, ensuring food security, and positioning the country as a global competitor. Meanwhile, the federal government has said it's recorded 6.9 trillion naira in revenue as at end of April this year. Disclosing this yesterday, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, noted that the performance was about 40% increase year on year when compared with the 5.2 trillion at the same period of last year. Speaking at the second quarter Citizens and Stakeholders Engagement on the implementation of presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables. Edun added that with rising revenue, the percentage of debt servicing and revenue was getting better. In the meantime, the federal government of Nigeria, FGN, through the Debt Management Office DMO, has offered green bonds valued at 100 billion naira for subscription at 1,000 naira per unit. The DMO announced the offer on its Twitter handle yesterday. DMO explained that the latest offer consists of a 50 billion naira 5 years reopening bond due in April 2029 and a 50 billion new 7 years bond due in June 2032, both at an interest rate of 19.3% semi-annually. The agency said the auction date is June 23, while the settlement date is on June 25. In another development, the Benue State Police Command on Monday said it has deployed drones to track down the location of the 11 passengers and driver abducted around Eke in Okpoku local government area of the state. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers had around 6:30 p.m. on Sunday abducted 11 passengers and a driver of a vehicle belonging to Benue State Transport Company known as Benue Links. The bus was intercepted at Eke in Okpoku local government along the Otukbo-Otukpa Enugu Highway. Confirming the abduction, the management of Benue Links said the ill-fated vehicle left Abeokuta in Ogun State en route to Makurdi on Sunday when it was intercepted by gunmen. The management confirmed the incident in a statement made available to journalists in Makurdi on Monday. On financial crime, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested an ex-chief financial officer, CFO, of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Umar Issa, over an alleged $7.2 billion fraud linked with the rehabilitation of the Kaduna, Warri, and Port Harcourt refineries. The anti-graft agency also apprehended one Jimo Olasunkomi, a former managing director of Warri Refinery. It will be recalled that Issa, as CFO, spearheaded the release of funds for the turnaround maintenance of the three refineries. Reports say he and all the key officials involved in the maintenance of the refineries and other NNPC key projects are being investigated for alleged abuse of office, corruption, diversion of funds, and kickbacks from contractors. Moving now to Africa, where three police officers in Kenya were on Monday, June 23, charged with the murder of a 31-year-old blogger, Albert Ojwang, whose death in police custody earlier this month has triggered nationwide protests and renewed scrutiny of police brutality in the country. Ojwang was arrested after allegedly defaming Kenya's deputy police chief, Eliud Lagat, on social media. Lagat, who has denied any wrongdoing, stepped down temporarily last week while investigations continue. Alongside the three officers, Samson Kiproti, Talam James Mukwana, and Peter Kimani, three civilians are also facing charges. Authorities initially claimed Ojwang died from self-inflicted injuries. However, a post-mortem later revealed evidence of assault, contradicting the police account and fueling public anger. On the foreign scene, US President Donald Trump has announced that Iran and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire after close to 2 weeks of violent conflict between the two countries. Trump took to his Truth Social on Monday evening to announce that both countries had agreed to a complete and total ceasefire. According to him, the ceasefire agreement is expected to take effect at 12 midnight local time, but both Iran and Israel are yet to confirm any definite ceasefire agreement. However, Iran said its military operations to punish Israel for its aggression continued until the very last minute at 4 a.m. Still on the foreign scene, the United Nations has condemned a suicide bombing on Sunday at a Damascus church that killed 25 worshippers, including women and children, during Mass. No fewer than 60 churchgoers were also wounded in the attack. According to reports, a gunman opened fire inside the Greek Orthodox St. Elias Church in the Douala neighborhood before detonating an explosive vest. Meanwhile, photos and video from inside the church showed a heavily damaged altar and pews covered in broken glass. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres strongly condemned the attack, describing it as a heinous crime. Still to come in the news, Atletico crash out of Club World Cup despite win over Botafogo. Stay tuned for details of this in a moment. Welcome back and thank you so much for sticking around. Now to the concluding part of our news story. On our business news, the Naira appreciated against the dollar at the parallel foreign exchange market to kick off the week on a good note. A bureau de change operator at Wusa Zone 4 told reporters that it gained 1,590 naira against the dollar on Monday from 1,600 naira traded last week on Friday. This means that at the black market, where foreign exchange currencies are mostly transacted, the naira strengthened by a significant 10 naira in the period under review. In health, the chairman of Nigerian Medical Association, Abia State, Dr. Ezinwa Ezurike, has called on the Abia State Civil Service Commission and other concerned agencies to resume the process for the recruiting of 771 health workers, which was approved by Governor Alex Otti. Dr. Ezurike, who met the call in Umuahia, expressed surprise at the sudden suspension of the recruitment exercise last week. Speaking to newsmen in Umuahia, the NMA chairman praised Governor Alex Otti for his wisdom in approving the employment of more health workers and for reconstructing health facilities in the state. He, however, called for urgent resumption of the employment to take care of patients' health workers ratio in urban and rural areas. He said that employing more health workers as approved by Governor Oti would go a long way in addressing the shortage of experienced professional health workers in the state. Still in health, the National Health Insurance Authority and stakeholders in the health sector have emphasized the need to prioritize health insurance, making it accessible and sustainable for every individual, regardless of their background or economic status. They noted that health insurance remains a vital instrument for improving health outcomes, reducing preventable deaths, and saving lives. With the 2022 NHIA Act 2022, health insurance has become mandatory for all Nigerians and legal residents in the country. Reports say 19.2 million citizens have enrolled in health insurance schemes. Speaking at an interactive forum in Lagos recently with the theme Health Insurance, a Priority to Improve Health Outcomes, The stakeholders who identified challenges hindering health insurance coverage and chartered a course of action also emphasized the crucial role of health insurance in achieving universal health coverage in the country. To sports now, where Brazilian side Botafogo booked their place in the last 16 of the Club World Cup on Monday despite a 1-0 defeat to Atletico Madrid, which was not enough to prevent the Spaniards crashing out. Atletico routed 4-0 by Paris Saint-Germain in their opening game of the tournament, went into the final round of Group B fixtures knowing they would likely need a big win to advance. With PSG defeating the Seattle Sounders 2-0 elsewhere in Group B, that task proved beyond Diego Simeone's men in another sweltering midday kickoff in front of 22,992 fans at the Pasadena Rose Bowl. Former France international Antoine Griezmann scored the game's only goal, lashing home a Julian Alvarez cross in the 87th minute to give Atletico a victory that ultimately was in vain. Still in sports, former world number ones Naomi Osaka and Victoria Azarenka both advanced to the second round in the Wimbledon warm-up tournament at Bad Homburg on Monday. Japan's Osaka battled past Serbian qualifier Olga Danilovic 7-6, 8-6, 7-6, 7-4 as Belarusian Azarenka beat Germany's Laura Siegmund 6-2, 6-2. Azarenka, 35, next meets Poland's Iga Swiatek in the second round. Osaka fired 16 aces with Danilovic hitting 10 in a big serving battle which lasted just over 2 hours. On our entertainment news, rapper Tochukwu Ojogu, popularly known as Odumodu Block, has boasted that he is arguably the hottest artist in Nigeria. He claimed that despite his celebrity status, he remains humble. The pity this boy, hitmaker, said he displayed humility by driving for hours to Osun State to serve as a classroom copper. Ojumadu Block featured a guest in a recent episode of the Just Men 105.7 podcast along with other members of the Anti-World Gang. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Good morning.